Aha! I think we're good. Just checking everything. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Jedi Academy. I'm just checking all the P's and Q's and making sure we're coming in clear and everyone can see us. All right, restream looks good. Alrighty then. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the longest running Q&A show for the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes community. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host extraordinaire, and of course, joining me and helping me out in the background is the one, the only, Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman. Dr. Finn, how are you this morning?
I thought we were going to talk about Magic the Gathering. I think I'm on the wrong stream.
I mean, we can. I'll just kill all the guests, slaughter the host, and just get at it, and then we'll just go do some magic. Hell no, we're not tired about Magic the Gathering, Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. What's wrong with you? Why would you say that? The people out there going right now, it is.
Alright, I guess we'll do Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
If you don't mind, Finn, I mean, if it's not too much of a burden on you.
It is, but I will take one
for God's sakes. I mean, honestly. Alright, so welcome to Not the Magic the Gathering, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community Q&A show. This is the Jedi Academy, and all we do here is we scoop up all your questions, and we are going to get you the answers. But it's not going to be us answering this time. We brought the best and the brightest of YouTubers and game changers together, and then I'll introduce those guys here in a second. And the way it works is you put your question in chat, we'll scoop it up, we'll give it to one of our panelists, and we'll just take it from there. And make sure you put question in front of your statement. Dr. Finn is scooping up all the questions, whether it's in Twitch or in YouTube. We're dual streaming in both. And make sure you put question for your statement. If not, we're going to miss it. And that's on you, not us. And your question's not going to get answered. There's too many questions, and this is how we filter it through Nightbot. So help us, help you, help us, help you. That being said, we've already introduced Dr. Finn. I think he's sad because he didn't eat 6 donuts yet today, so that's a problem. Or problematic in the hall, as our good friend Urza would say. So let's introduce people that really don't eat a lot of donuts and are here to really have a good time and know that this is not Magic the Gathering. First of all, we've got our returning champion, the one and only, the long time, the Scissor Man, Colorado's finest, Warrior Presents is here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Deny me, want to get a robe, deny me. Warrior. Oh, goodness. And then also join us, the leader of the Jedi Order, and she did to the dark side of the Force, Lady Adastra.
Good morning.
No, Lady Adastra, you must come up with an evil voice now that you've turned to the dark side.
Never.
There it was, right there. I knew it was in. Yes, good, Adastra, good. Also joining us, someone who is very dark side like me, his master. We've got Stoner Jedi with my apprentice, Darth. Isaiah!
What's up, everybody? Good morning.
No one cares what you think. Put Isaiah on to answer questions.
Say hey.
Isaiah, it's your Lord. Ranger!
Say hey.
Give me props. Fist bumps.
Something.
Corn dog, something! Isaiah!
Well, he's being antisocial.
Well,
you'll hear him sooner or later.
It's a Sith trait. Alright, so welcome everybody in the chat. Very glad to have you. Glad to have you guys all following us over in Twitter. Not Twitter, but Twitch. We actually do have a Twitter. We got too many damn channels, Finn. I can't keep up with this crap anymore. So I'm just going to focus on YouTube and Twitch. I'm just seeing everybody here. First of all, one announcement I am going to put is that there are no spoilers allowed in this channel. You want to get banned? Go ahead and put an Avengers Endgame spoiler in there. I dare you. I don't dare. I don't care who you are. I will burn you and remove you. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Don't. Some people have seen it. Great. We have a channel on our Discord. You can go in there. We talk spoilers all you like. Don't ruin for everybody else. People haven't seen it yet this weekend, so don't do that. I've seen some people doing that. I think they just like to make other people's lives miserable because they're miserable and take stuff away from them. I don't know why you do that. But if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, don't put that in there. So, that being said, glad to have you here. Get your questions in. And why is my stupid YouTube acting up? I don't know. I'm watching Twitch. See anybody's in there. Okay, good. Dr. Finn, are you ready?
Or
for the show.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I have to be. I mean, I know you're doing Magic the Gathering and stuff, but I mean, you could take some time from your busy schedule to help me. Let's see here. So what's going on this week? Not a lot. No big announcements. Nothing really happened. Oh, wait a minute. Padme came into the game, but the controversy is not that Padme came into the game. Is that Finn didn't get the version he wanted. Panel, how do we feel about that? Warrior, Dastra, Stoner. Do we really care what Finn wants?
I think Padme was going to happen regardless. I mean, there's, you know, it was pulled 2 years ago that she was inside the game files. And we talked about that years ago about whether they were going to actually make her a thing. And because she was in the game files, we talked about it. Because we talked about it, people gave their opinion on it. And because people gave their opinion on it, you know, it came out. I remember when we first started, there was this culture at the game studio that you can't make certain characters because, like C-3PO, for example, I remember being at the studio talking with them, and they said, you know, so we said, so is C-3PO ever going to come into the game? And they laughed and said, what's he going to do? You know, like trip and fall? So the dynamic of the game and how far it has come and what they're capable of doing creative-wise, I have to hats off to the studio on that, because C-3PO is an absolutely amazing character that they have constructed, and he doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's perfect. It's exactly the way
it's like Hermit Yoda. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Hermit Yoda paved that way for sure. It was the first character to ever not attack. And then they realized, wow, not only are these popular characters, but they're actually insanely strong kits. They don't actually need to bash someone over the head for 40,000 to be a good character. And the studio realized that was a success. And so their mind shift changed, and they started bringing out more and more characters. And I think Padme didn't have an opportunity to come out in the last few years because, you know, people think of her traditionally as just having a tiny little blaster gun and maybe, you know, just running around and getting, you know, kidnapped. So it's like, you know what I mean? I don't think people thought of her as a fighter type thing. But now in this day and age, she has an opportunity to really own her spot in the game and, you know, be a legendary character. And I'm excited to see what she brings to the game. I hope, for intents and purposes, that she brings, you know, another level to the Galactic Republic, because that's, you know, Annie's era, and I want to see, you know, them have synergy together. And so I'm excited about it, and I'm just glad to see that we've come so far in the last 2 years that characters such as Padme have a place in the game.
Do you think she's going to have an ability called Breaking My Heart, where Anakin comes on the field and she dies?
A whole bunch of little children's heads fly off and hit the other team.
They've got to do. Oh my God, they'll never do it. But I mean, God, I would love that so much.
That's not going to happen.
Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? That's what the ability will be called. There's too many. Finn, you've had a chance to digest this. How are you feeling about your beloved Padme?
I'm glad she's in the game. I'm disappointed she's not a midriff Padme.
Yeah, I know you wanted that. I know you've got that poster hanging up somewhere.
I also don't like Carrie's explanation. I retweeted her and declared shenanigans on her. It's an official declaration of shenanigans. She said they decided that they were not going to put battle-torn or battle-worn outfits on their characters. But if you look at the bottom of the Tusken Raider and their clothes are dirty. From getting into sniper positions and everything. And I sent her that screenshot, and I declared shenanigans. And if you think that all the Tuskens wear that as fashion, look at Shaman, because Shaman is nice and clean at the bottom border. So I declare shenanigans on Carrie and CG. They put in battle worn stuff in game.
Well, just to address something real quick, I see in Twitch, Manporg, who brought all the Porgs and stuff, and it's part of the Porg Radiant Twitch, said a graphic of who's talking would be nice. Well, you do see that, so you can see all.
We're working on that. There's a way we can do that.
There is. Well, we'll change it. We've had this graph for a long time.
I mean, we have to change it a little bit. Yeah. There. If you want to do something really quick, Ranger.
What? No. No. I hate change. Okay. I don't like doing change. Okay. What do you want to do?
You know where the video is for Anakin and Kenobi?
Yeah.
Put the zoom window there and then switch your zoom to speaker mode and it'll always show whoever's talking.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. All right. Well, give me a few minutes.
We can do this during the first question.
Well, then you start handling the questions and stuff while I get this going, because it's going to take me a minute or two to do this, because we got a video. Oh, my God. Thanks, Manporg! Any other ideas? Give them to Finn. This is what happens. I have to do extra work. God, I'm put myself on mute. I'm going to kill somebody.
All right. Who gets the first question, though, Ranger? All right. Well, I'll give the order, and I'll give the first question to. We'll continue the discussion here. Anyone else?
We could have talked about Padme and the Galactic Republic more if you want.
Yeah. I was gonna actually ask, because I don't think you gave your opinion yet, Adastra or Xylo. What do you guys think of Padme? And I don't know if you guys saw the trailer that was pulled immediately after certain things were probably revealed in that video that shouldn't have been. So what are your thoughts on Padme?
I laughed when I heard about that they instantly pulled the trailer. They're like, oh crap, people are too analytic for this stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. There's like, oh hey, a new Jedi. All right, let's do this.
Yeah. What do you think of Mon Calamari?
Sure, I'd be happy with any Jedi Edition Galactic Republic, because they're just building up on that now, and the trio rework was really awesome, and it just makes you excited to see what more they have in store for Galactic Republic as a whole. And then Padme sounds like she's gonna have a strong Galactic Republic leadership, so that'll be fun to see what they do. And then of course, as stated, and what the direct synergy with her and Annie will be. I mean, they can do a million things with that. I'm very interested to see, because it's going to be another awesome team that we get to use. And, but I've been having fun with the other reworks, so it's like, keep building up these Galactic Republic, by all means.
And Xylo, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, her kit from her animations look pretty interesting. Like she's gonna be like a Thrawn-esque type support character.
She has a mean kick. She's a mean.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be pretty interesting, and I like the new direction they're going with this Galactic Republic triumvirate thing with Anakin, and I want to gear up Ahsoka a little bit. She's the only one that I have to get up to gear 12. Really didn't have to make too much of an investment for Anakin's rework when it came around, so I took advantage of speeding up my Jedi Revan team and my Herma Yoda a little bit more. You guys know I've had both Zetas on Herma Yoda now for a long time, so having all these investments are kind of coming in circle, and you have a second counter for Darth Malak, and mirrors aren't really a problem either. But I mean, there's always people who have better mods than you, and learning how to counter with mirrors is something I'm kind of working with too. And it's also more manageable to climb with Anakin and the Jedi team, and for Jedi not to have your best mods, really. Like they can have your like B, C grade 6E mods, right? And you still benefit from all this too. So I'm really excited to see the Padme event for sure.
All right.
I think I've done it, Finn.
Okay.
Secure says XSplit broadcaster because you suck. But Xylo's name came popping up when he started talking.
Yeah, I had to do that. That works.
It's all right. We know you didn't brush your teeth or comb your hair. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. All right. So I think that gets us to where we need to be for questions. So Ranger, who gets the first question?
Of course, we go to the great Colorado state representative of all Star Wars, Warrior. so screwing around with this damn OBS.
All right. So question for Warrior from Paparazzi. And the question is, how do I mod my Bossk? Is Warrior there?
Did we lose Warrior? Are you muted, Warrior? Are you getting coffee? And if so, can you pick me and Finn some up?
Well,
Sorry,
we can
I'm
get,
on the other line with the doctor. Hold on one second. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll
we'll give the question to Xylo then.
Yes, give it to the stoner.
So Xylo, how do you mod Bossk?
Yeah, just speed and tenacity.
Should you go in a little bit more in depth? You and the
Speed, tenacity, protection. I mean,
Yes,
get
why do you
benefit, a
want
lot of
that?
protection
Yes.
from Bossk lead too. So
yes,
yeah, you want him pretty fast, even if he's not going to be your leader. You ideally want him to be your leader if you're, starting to make the investment in the bounty hunters. But once you work into Django, then yeah, it kind of leads into that. So
science. All right. Let's see here.
Next one goes to Adastra.
Yes, because
I can do this one because there's only 3 of them, so it makes it easy.
Yeah.
All right. So, question from Helenix. So, I finally got my Malek to gear 11 with 5 stars and 2 Zetas. How should I mod him?
Well, you generally just want to make him tanky, so he'll survive and be a nuisance. But you want to throw some speed on him too. So focus on beefing him up first. Like do a bunch of the protection. Since it converts to health, you'll get more bang for your buck. So you can just even at that level, because mine's only 5-star gear 11 too, but I'm still able to pack in a bunch of the protection. So he's actually fairly beefy for this level. And then again, yeah, you want some speed there so he can get every attack that he has is good. Like this character is just they made him really good.
Insane.
So you want speed there so he can actually get in more than a few attacks. I mean, he'll get his. You said you have your Zetas on him, so he will trigger quite a few times too. So that's good. But yeah, that's generally it. It's pretty simple. I mean, I know other people have they have the higher maxed out ones. You have more options. But for now, you just need to focus on that survivability and yeah.
All right. I like it. All right. Warrior is still... I don't know if he's available or not, so we'll go to Stoner Jedi, and by Stoner Jedi I mean the apprentice. Put him on. What does Darth Isaiah, our 2-year-old Sith apprentice, think of the next question?
All right. So, the next question is from Nick Merck. And his question is, for the Malek event, who do I bench?
Oh.
well, wait, what do you mean by who do you bench? Like, honestly, I didn't really invest in Candace or Juhani, but you have to invest in one or the other for the Malek event. Yeah.
Yeah, each one has like 6 characters you can use, so who would be the one that's left off for both teams? If you were to
Well, I left Candace out because, for one, he's such a high gear investment. For 2, he's kind of got one niche, right? Like, see? I told you,
My
go.
apprentice speaks! That's
But yeah, Candace kind of only has like one dimension, whereas opposed to Juhani is not only just a Jedi, she's got the Old Republic tag, so she works in the Cart team, she works in just about any Jedi team. Hey, come here. And on top of that, she's also got the Jedi tag, and she's an additional tank in your roster. So yeah.
Yeah, I think of all the characters that you work for, Darth Revan, Darth, Malek and stuff, the one that I haven't still not have bothered with, and I don't think I ever will, is T3. Just the rest, I'm Karth with Candace and Juhani in Mission and Zalbar. You're like, use those, they're a great team, rock and roll. And then HK and Fallen Basila go on the Darth Revan team. If you have all those characters, I mean, that is definitely a team that I use on defense. The Karth-led team, T3's just sitting there, and I think after doing the Malek event, I don't know how you feel about this, Stoner, that you definitely want mission in Zalbar on that dark side mission other than T3 and 4.
Definitely.
I mean, oh lordy, I have a lot of not fond memories of the Malek event. Oh Lord, but at least everybody knows what to do now since we've all suffered through it. So good. All right, Warrior, are you back yet? No,
right.
Warrior. Okay, we'll go back. We'll go to. We got a question in Twitch. Do you want me to go ahead and fire that one off for Lady
Yeah,
Asajj?
go ahead.
All right. So this is from McTweet, and your pork people are representing big time in Twitch, Finn. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean,
Pork.
No. Listen, I'm about to get all Sith and force choking people with this pork crap. McTweet question: how long, for Lady Adastra, of course. Question: how long do you think before Malak comes back? The usual 3 months, or more like a rare 5 to 6 months?
Seems like it'd be the 3-month-ish mark, right? And they seem like they've been bringing these characters back earlier and earlier, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I know they haven't been doing the max time lately with when bringing them back. Like Jedi Revan just came back again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'd expect Malek to come back sooner than later. Like whatever the earliest mark, they'll probably bring him.
Yeah, do you think so? Obviously, they're going to bring Revan back, like probably 3 to 4 months. Do you think they'll bring? I'm thinking they're going to bring Malek right behind them. I mean,
I'm sure they'll time it.
Yeah, it's just like JTR BB-8. You can't have one without the other. R2 CLS, they're kind of linked together, so kind of have to have both. Oh boy! So prepare yourselves. All right, we'll go back to Stoner Jedi and my young apprentice for the next question.
Okay, so the next question is JG Hot 1, and his question is: can you tell me a good lineup to focus on for someone who may not want to whale out on B1 or Droideka for Padme event?
That's a good question. We don't know what the damn event's going to be. Let's assume some things here, Stoner. Let's assume that it's going to be just a legendary. We don't know. We're just going to assume it's a regular old-fashioned legendary, so you can get her 5, 6, or 7 stars. Let's assume you can use any separatists, and you don't need just those 2 characters. What would you run then?
Yeah, so I've been reading Grievous's lead a lot, and I really think it's going to either come down to Zetaing his lead or B2, just because of the turn meter mechanic. The lead has more of an overall effect, and I think giving Grievous the lead will give him more viability in the event, regardless whether he's Gear 10 or Gear 11. And most people going into the event are going to have him 7 stars. So if you've made some investment in the General Grievous team, which you're going to have to, and then I'd say, B2, Magna Guard, you're going to have to gear him up a little bit. And if not, you're going to have to use the rest of the filler characters like Asajj, Dooku, Sun Fac if you've worked on the Geos. Geonosian Soldier also has a good call to assist mechanic. So if you've got more of the droids to kind of fuel their debuffs and their mechanics, that would kind of like speed up the process a little bit more. And you kind of want the people around Grievous to die anyways, because that's the mechanic of the team to get him going and ramping his damage, right? So the lead again too, like, the better, like, think about it this way, like, yeah, Dooku's evasion lead is going to have some effect, but then you're going to be pulling your hair out for hours, depending on RNG. But
I don't have any hair, and I'm used to pulling it out.
Well, then you're going to pull your teeth and your goatee out, brother. And, but I really think Asajj lead will be possible too, because they did mention in some posts over the internet, and they said something about what was it? that other people have tried, like with the bounty hunter, have been comparing it to like Bossk and Boba lead, and so what they're mentioning is like, you know, it's going to be possible with Asajj lead. It's going to be possible with Dooku lead. Like the mechanics of the lead, you know, like Asajj lead, for example, yeah, it only affects Night Sisters. She's the only one that it really matters, yeah, because it only affects her. But the ability of the characters all around her dying, and the consistent debuffing of the team, right? So you're going to need a lot of debuffs. Sunfac has a debuff on his basic. B2 has a consistent AoE debuff, and Asajj has an AoE heal debuff. So as long as you have that same kind of concept going and consistently using the AoE debuffs and ramping up Asajj's damage, I could see that too. So there's a lot of different variables, and there's 3 different looks for you.
There you go.
Hey guys, sorry to jump in. Unfortunately, I gotta go. I may not be back today. I apologize. You guys have a good morning.
All right.
We love you, Warrior.
All right, hope everything's
Take
okay,
care.
Warrior.
Talk to you later.
Wow. Well, emergencies happen. I hope everything is okay with Warrior. Man.
He's had a lot going on with some of his pets, and that's probably what he was talking about with the doctor. So
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
Well, damn it. I never want to hear bad news for good people. So, I hope he's okay. Or everything's all right. So, we'll find out, folks. All right. So, next question to Lady Adasha.
Okay. So question is from SWU Efrol Stern, and he says, which bounty hunter is more useful to grind next, Embo or Aura Singh?
Ooh.
It's kind of hard to say without more context because they're both good, but in a specific way that they're both good, you know? So it's like, just from a blind comparison, I would say Embo just because of what he can bring. You know, he has that dispel on his basic, which I've made so much good use of. And then his leadership is pretty fun because of the counters, and you can actually make a decent team with him. But Aura is good to plug in too. So it's like, I don't even know like your specific builds of what you have going, but just between the two, I would say Embo because I feel like he can be plugged in a little better, and he brings more to the table in the sense of, like I said, the dispel on the basic is just super handy, and then he has his big hits, of course. Aura is a good damage dealer, however. So, and also a good leader if you're doing the secondary too. So, I'm sorry, I don't. I would need more to go off of because they're both good, but
Yeah,
I
they're
think
really good.
Embo. Yeah, you're
You
totally
know?
right with Embo first, because like I've used both in a lot of scenarios, and they're both counter leads, but Aura's isn't as high of a percentage, and you get so much more of a health steal from Embo's lead, and he's just his lead. What is it? It's when bounty hunters fill the contract, when they do basics, they deal mass damage like an expose based on the character's health pool. So, like, say you're facing like a tank or something like that, or a nihilist, it's doing big amounts of damage on basic.
well,
Alright.
the thing is, her contract would probably be a little easier because it's 10 times versus it's 15 times. So if you're going purely contract based, she would leaders though.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
hers is
assuming
the
they're
best
wondering
to
as like
fill
a
contracts.
filler.
Like
Yeah.
they just like they start off with the stealth, so they start off buffed already, and all they have to do is use 10 abilities basically, and it's the fastest contract for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I've used Embo way more, so maybe I'm a little biased to say him. But I know
Yeah,
Aura
same.
is pretty awesome too. I've been trying to form different bounty hunter teams and mixing and matching, because
Yeah.
you can mix in other scoundrels too. It doesn't have to be pure bounty hunter. But yeah, I would say Embo edges her out in a general basis.
I could see that definitely. All right. Next question for Stoner Jedi.
Okay. Question from Andrew Cruikshank. Kind of similar to the last question for you, Xylo. His question is: do you think that a Zeta Grievous that is has his unique Zeta and Gear 9 lead with Zeta Asajj Gear 12 with a Gear 9 Dooku, Sunfac, and B2 will be able to unlock a 5-star Padme?
I mean, again, we need to see the event, but judging off of what you're saying, I think you could have a chance at unlock for sure. I mean, it's not going to be like insane. Like when you look at the Chewbacca event, when you look at the 3PO event, I mean, they were difficult to tier 5, yeah, but with that investment, I think you'll be okay for sure. I mean, you might just skim by it. Who knows, depending on the tier of the difficulty. But an unlock, it doesn't matter with if you finish with 1 character or 5. If you finish, right? So.
Yeah, it seemed because they made a comparison to the Chewie event, so I feel like it'll be that same. That the 5-star, that'll be the easy one easier to at least get the unlock, and then the 7-star will be the challenging one where you got to figure out the ideal comps. Which again, it'll be fun to experiment because not everyone, or I honestly don't know how many people are actually gonna have a 7-star B1 and droid for that. Which obviously that's gonna be the ideal team. But for the rest of us, we're gonna figure out these different combinations that'll work. So I'm looking forward to that, seeing how difficult is this event really gonna be? What fun combinations are we gonna do? It's like I have all these ideas of different lineups I want to try. Like just for fun, I'm gonna try the Poggle lead and just like different stuff.
All right. Next question. Finn, you know you like Finn. I need a 5-minute AFK myself. That's stupid technician. I'll be right back.
All right.
I got people from maintenance. I'll be back 5-10 minutes.
Okay. So Adastra, question from What Else 73. And the question is your thoughts on the droids that might or might not explode and the Han team buffs in this territory war.
They are crazy. That's what.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, like, the droid one is just... I mean, they could have made that one way scarier if they wanted to. But it's still pretty, up in the air, like, will this droid explode or not? Whether you use it offensively or defensively, it's always a question of, is it going to survive another round? Or is it going to explode and kill something? Or, harm something, because they can't actually kill when they do that. But I don't know, I thought that was a interesting idea from whoever at CG is in charge of coming up with these weird bonuses. And then the Han one, I laughed so hard when they did that, because it's kind of not surprising with how many Hans we have in the game. It made sense that they would make a buff with them just because they can. And that one though, like, good God, there's so many things you can do with that too. I mean, just the fact that they all open with a stun. I mean, that alone is just insane. It doesn't matter what gear level it is. You just throw them in. Here's a stun. You can add them basically to any team because of that. It's just on that note, like, it is fun that you can mess around and come up with these different teams because of these silly bonuses. But it's also in the guild I'm in at a higher level, it also adds an element of stress because they're like, how do I best use this? Especially if you're going against guilds that have way more of these niche characters, geared 12 and all that. So it's like, how do you best make use of these crazy bonuses? But it's fun. I think it's fun. I'm glad they don't do it all. If they did this like every TW, then it would probably just get annoying. But I think they have a good balance to it. Bonuses, vanilla. Keep it. Yeah. What about you guys? What do you feel on bonus stuff like this?
Well, like you said, at the higher tier, when I see some of these bonuses, I'm just like, I get so frustrated. But it's also because, in MC3, we've been, me and Ranger have been here for, I would say, like 8 or 9 months now. as opposed to when we were in MC2. You know, we were in a more hyper focused guild and more efficient guild. And ever since we moved down to 3, we've been, you know, territory war officers to kind of direct the newer members. And I can't tell you how many newer members we've had. So, and you know, we get a lot of prime team issues, and with these buffs, if, you know, like not so much for the droids, obviously, since they just kind of blow up if we see a wall. For those, you know, it's kind of like there's a, you know, it's just, you know, wait for the call and go for it, you know. But with the Hans, it's definitely more frustrating when you go in and then you face that team if it's primed. So it's definitely, it's an interesting concept, but it kind of takes away from the competitive nature of when you're facing the, you know, the higher guilds that you're looking forward to facing. And it kind of like adds this extra layer to where you don't really get to face them at an even level, right?
There actually
it's
is
still
no
a
timing.
competition in that regard, though. I mean, it's just some of these characters not everyone is gonna have, of course. So like the droids, everyone's gonna have different droids by now.
Right.
The Han, most people are just gonna have the OG Han. Like, how many people gear up that Han all the way, you know?
Yeah, like
I know that.
mine, the best that you got from me, like my Cholo, my veteran Han, and what is it, my young Han, they're all Gear 7. So I mean, like,
Yikes.
it's yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
they take advantage of, you know, what territory bonuses they give, but you know, how many teams can you really utilize with that, right? So
I'm also pretty sure, and Xylo, you can check when you do this. I'll take a look at it too. I don't think there's any way to prime a Han team, because even if they have turn meter, right, they get a bonus turn at the start of this now, which means they start out at full turn meter, and as soon as they go, their turn meter is 0 again. So unless there's other characters on the team, I don't think there's any priming of the Han teams.
Yeah, they're gonna open with that barrage no matter what.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like each one of them are going to shoot first, and you know, just getting through that is going to be impossible alone. So.
Exactly. So I don't think there's a priming of them, like loading up turn meter and stuff, because they're all going to start at 100% turn meter anyways. So, yeah. And I'm annoyed with territory wars, to be honest. I miss the old like First Order and Bounty Hunter ones, which were like subtle bonuses. But I've kind of resigned myself to what Territory Wars is ever since they said that Territory Wars was going to be quote unquote fun and playful. That means they don't take this as a serious.
I was terrified when they said that. And I'm like, no, Territory Wars is supposed to be.
It is. They have made this a very individual focused game. I mean, all the direction right now, and it may be that they're coming back with some more team stuff, right? With the territory battles, it seems like we might end up having some kind of like guild raids and all that kind of stuff. So it might be coming back, but there is no team PvP mode. That is what Territory Wars was, right? And I know there was some annoyance at the top that things were getting too stale, and I can kind of understand that, but I think this has gone way too far in the other direction. It's basically made Territory Wars a joke. And it's really frustrating for like me, for example, where I really enjoy the team PvP aspects more than I do the individual. I couldn't care less if I do well in Arena. I don't really care that much about Grand Arena. Territory Wars was my favorite game mode, and it's gone. Like Territory Wars as it stands now with all these ridiculous bonuses has completely changed what Territory Wars was. And I think they need to stop all these really, really OP ones. If they want to give subtle bonuses like they did with First Order and Bounty Hunters, with the original Territory Wars, I think that would be fine. But this
thing is, as they keep releasing more and more characters, especially as powerful as we have, I mean, and yes, I know it's skills depending what guild you're in. So like my guild being at the higher end, we all have the same OP stuff. Like they really need something to change it up. Like I would honestly like to see more zones or more character required in the zone itself, because we just have so much and you don't get to use half of your roster anymore and have that skill according to GP. So lower end guilds aren't punished, you know, for higher end guilds needing more variety. I mean, the bonuses I thought was a fun idea. I mean, yeah, they can get a little silly or carried away, but at least it's something to break it up somewhat where you get to use characters you don't normally otherwise. I mean, I appreciated it for that sense. And again, I'm glad we still have our vanilla wars, but it's still they need to do something to change that up too. I feel like it's just we have so many characters in the game now. Like they need to,
Yeah.
I don't know, give us a brand new, I don't know.
I think they did it. I don't know how many people remember, because I know we have some newer people watching too. But at one point with Territory Wars, and I know you both remember it, they scaled the number of teams that you put on defense based on your guild's GP, right? Like the amount that has that queued up for the war.
Yeah.
I think that's the right idea. Their problem was,
well, they did a flat 35. I thought. I didn't think.
No. It's scaled based on GP. So ours ended up being like 28 or something per zone.
Oh, okay.
So I think that was the right idea. Their problem was they didn't have the right scale, and the player concept of their like top 1% of guilds and the community's perception of the top 1% of guilds are two different things, right? Like my guild is currently 194 million GP, 195, right? And so I wouldn't consider myself one of the top guilds, right? Because the top guilds would be like the TI guilds, the MC guilds, the Wolfpack guild, and I mean there's Alliance guilds, and I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of them, but like the really, really high, probably above 230 million GP type of guilds, like those would be what I would consider the top guilds. But their consideration went a lot lower. And so they started to scale it with people's GPs that really didn't have the teams in order to afford it. So I think that was the better idea. They just needed to tweak how they scaled it and what GP was doing. And that would have been, I think, to your point, Adastra, allowed guilds to use more of their roster. And by putting more on defense, you now have to get more characters used and come up with more innovation so you can go towards the bottom of your roster. I just wish they had gone back to that rather than what they've done with Territory Wars now.
Yeah, or at least give us the option of that or something. I agree. Like it was fun and challenging when they did that because, like you said, the scaling was off. So like we were struggling to put in.
Oh yeah.
In the guild I was in, we were struggling to fill up those zones. You're like, oh, we'll just throw in junk in the very back. There's no way the opponent is reaching the very back.
Well, here's another thing too.
Like
I mean, like Revan and Malek.
Yeah, just so you could fill it up.
Yeah.
And that was fun too. Like it was rare to be able to clear because of that. Like there's just so much to get through that it was just like it was fun though in that sense. Challenging. But I know a lot of people hated it. I remember the
yeah, we hated it because the 28 per zone just didn't scale properly with our guild. And so it was really annoying for us because we got drained everywhere. And it feels a lot worse when you don't have a depth in roster to even really do anything on either side. What are you gonna say, Silo?
Well, even with the introduction of like Revan and Malek, like Territory Wars has this other layer. But on top of that, now I mean, with them requiring for Padme the Separatist droids, you're going to start seeing. Even at the mid-tier levels, you're going to start seeing more Grievous teams and, all these new Galactic Republic teams, too, on top of these new Darth Revan teams. So, Territory Wars is about to shake up a lot more than we were expecting, especially. And then on top of that, with character reworks in between this first half of the year, like they were mentioning, and the new characters we could potentially get out of these territory battles, light, dark side characters, maybe new characters in the store. So it's going to be even more layered now in the next couple weeks. So,
all right,
I'm back. Stupid maintenance people.
No worries. Dreamy Mushroom. I have a clarinet, not a violin. Okay. Next question.
We're doing musical questions now. Okay.
Next question for Xylo, and questions from Vincent Belpo. I hope I said that right. Question is, Jedi Revan event came back today for the third time. What impact do you expect this to have in Arena?
Well, I think it's going to not only increase, because, I mean, we've seen Jedi Knight Revan scale back into the top 100, 200 even now in day one meta. So you're going to even see Jedi Knight Revan potentially in the top, like, 300, 400. It's going to push players into increasing mods, too, as well. At that lower tier, so I think it's gonna add another layer to the lower tier players that are more hyper focused for sure. and it's definitely going to reward those players too to also be able to climb up higher. So it's going to be a little more frustrating on the players that are still only focusing with Jedi Knight Revan right now, but if they know to focus on Jedi Knight Revan, they're focusing on Darth Revan too. So it's going to also create more layers for the next time Darth Revan comes around. And, you know, looking at the numbers for players that got Jedi Knight Revan, Darth Revan, and Darth Malak the first time around, Darth Revan was the highest of the three. So it's definitely going to create another layer of Darth Revans coming up the next time around even too. So big cause and effect.
All right. Next question for Miss Adastra. Question from Pope Paparazzi. What do you think about maybe getting 5-star Padme now and waiting to get 7-star until the next time after all the Separatist reworks?
Well, I mean, 5-star, she'll still be of extreme use. Obviously, a 7-star will just add to the stats, and you can use her in the raid.
Well,
It feels like all these new characters are just raid beasts.
well,
Like,
I'm gonna add a question that's coming up as well. I'll give that to you now, Adastra, as part of this. And the question is from Billy Gunn, and his question is for the Geonosis TV. Do you think Padme will be required for a special mission at 5-star or 7-star?
I was actually gonna get to that too, because that's the at least in my guild we were talking about that like the odds are extremely high. Like I feel like it's a 99% chance she's gonna be required for a mission, and they said this TV is completely different because someone pointed out it's a dark side version first. But I kind of was thinking, since it's such a different TV, that they might have it a mixture. Like it might be a dark side theme perhaps, but you could still maybe have to use light side characters too, because they keep talking about how this TV is like nothing, like none of the other TVs so far. So nothing is out of the realm of possibilities, I feel like, for what we'll need. But even if it is just a basic dark side, light side, I feel she would be needed for the light side part, because she's just such a key character in that era, and the way they're releasing her, Galactic Republic. I mean, like the timing, the way CG is, like, don't they make it pretty obvious on stuff like this. But back to the original one, 5-star, yeah, 5-star will still be good. Like obviously shoot for the highest tier you can get, but if you can at least unlock her, then that's great. Because I mean, I don't know what her kit will be or everything, but I imagine it's going to be a really strong kit, and it'll help in all game modes. You know, it'll be great for Territory Wars, I'm sure, Grand Arena, and then of course the TV, which that also is going to be huge. So, but yeah, don't, if you can't get it to 7-star, you'll live. You know, like you don't have to. These characters that come out, like you don't have to get them 7-star. Plenty of people get it the next time around, and they're doing fine. So it's just whatever you can handle resource-wise. And I mean, again, we'll have these different combinations that we'll get to try out. So who knows? Maybe the people will find just this niche team that everyone has, and you just need to invest a little bit of gear and put some good. Because usually, if you can put awesome mods on, that can kind of balance out the lack of gear. Like people were able, every event so far, people were able to have like a gear 6, gear 7 character in there. So you definitely don't need everyone at gear 12. That's for sure.
Yeah, and if you have a decent amount of like the Geos or Dooku, you know what I mean? Like a variety of these characters are required like somewhere through the game, or you used them for territory wars or stretch factions in the game, right? Or, you know, Dooku was even meta, you know, early on. So if you're a day one player, you definitely got Dooku or even a Zeta on him. Yeah, I mean, like, and
yeah,
again,
we have the advantage, you know, if you've been around long, like for the
yeah, you got a 7-star Grievous.
We're meta, so like I have all the Geos geared up, and then yeah, people Dooku, he's good in a lot of teams, so a lot of people might have Dooku geared up, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't a bad gear either. I don't really remember, but I think
no.
Cool. And then, Asajj is kind of the odd one out because she just has no synergies with these guys. But if you have Grievous, that's also, not everyone will have him leveled up. But like Asajj under a Grievous lead could be pretty fun because of his lead reducing the defense, so Asajj would hit harder. So like you could have pieces and just of the droid team and just fill it in, and we at least have a couple of leaders to choose from. And we got the Dooku lead. And
Yeah, you got choices. You have options. You got Poggle lead too, right?
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this event plays out. And then I am looking forward to that new TV though, since that was brought up. Like that'll be interesting to see how it just sounded cool from the different snippets we've gotten so far.
All right. I don't know who's got what question or where, Finn. So
yeah, we kind of merged a few questions together there.
Yeah, but it answered both of them.
Well, just throw me in the mix, damn it. I don't know.
All right, next question from What Else 73. So this one's a little bit of a fun question, Xylo, but also I think a good idea for the game. It's a question from What Else 73. If you could buy a midriff version character model from a pack, would you?
I think you mentioned something like this before about like character skins, right? Like, I mean, it's something that's pretty popular in other games, and I mean, potentially somewhere down the road, I could see it, in Galaxy of Heroes. I mean, like, it's just because there's so many different like versions of the characters, and like they don't want to have to keep releasing new niche characters around like that. And you even see it in Battlefront 2 now too. There's multiple character skins, for the clones, the rebels, all the generic characters, even the heroes and the villains. They have multiple skins. And it's not something you have to invest money in, but there's certain top niche ones too that you can purchase and all that kind of stuff. And they
really quick. Sorry, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger, make sure you're muting your mic. People are hearing your mouse clicks like crazy right now.
Well, I'm trying. Goddamn. I can't do all this stuff and
bad Ranger.
Not bad Ranger. Ranger's busy. Damn, he's trying to make sure the show's running right. Y'all leave me alone.
Okay, I got the questions.
But right. Yeah, I could see it potentially in the future because it's something that people would invest something in, and if you like the character enough, it would be something that the fans would want to see long term. And I'm sure it's been mentioned once or twice on Reddit. So.
All right. Next question for Miss Adastra. And question is from Daniel McCracken. And he says, what should the gearing priority be for my new Revan squad? I currently have a Gear 11 Triple Zeta Revan, a Gear 11 Zeta Grandmaster Yoda, a Gear 11 Zeta Jolie, a Gear 9 Bastila, and a Gear 8 Chewie. Should I Zeta Loyal Friend or save it for Darth Revan and Malak?
Yeah, I would save that. There's so many, especially with what's coming too. And I mean, it's not a horrible Zeta for Chewie, but I just feel compared to what's coming. And then if you're saving up for the Darth Revan team, and they need a lot of Zetas too, you should probably save that. Because you can there's so many other characters you can fill in for that spot too if you want to do a pure Jedi team. Of course, being of note, the Jedi Knight Anakin rework. If you have him, gear him up, he's just a beast that you can use. Like, it's just... and I'm assuming... I guess I'd have to look at your roster, honestly, to see what other Jedi you have. But there's so many characters you could use instead of Chewie. I know it helps in the climb because of that assist and having the guard up, but it's not as good defensively. But yeah, save that Zeta. Definitely save it, especially if you only have one Zeta right now. Unfortunately, Zetas are in high demand these days.
He says he doesn't have anyone else unlocked. He said he doesn't have him unlocked yet. His only other Jedi is a Gear 10 Ezra.
Oh, well, Ezra's a good one though. I mean, I still use Ezra, but I mean, he's great with that
You also
Jedi.
use Jedi Knight Guardian. It's hard to understand you, Adastra, when it comes to Jedi.
Well, I mean, okay, that's fair. I think all Jedi are good, but honestly, Ezra is one of the higher end ones though, because of he's just another high attacker, has the dispel, the assist. It's like him plus Grandmaster Yoda is a very offensive team. So, but yes, no one beats Jedi Knight Guardian. She's top.
All right. Let's give the next question to the man that is south of North Kakalaki, who just managed to join us, Mr. Good old Maurice.
Oh my God! Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I just hopped on
got me.
to know his mouse was clicking on YouTube.
I'm not doing anything else. I'm done. I'm not gonna try to make the show better. I'm not gonna try to do stuff in the background. I'm done. I'm gonna sit here and you know what? I'm just gonna go look at YouTube. Let me see what am I finding on YouTube?
Can you guys hear me okay? I kind of got like a little boo-boo set up here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
A little
Don't be playing
boo-
YouTube.
Yeah, it sounds good.
No, I'll do what I damn well want, y'all. You know,
The sound of the YouTube videos will come through.
Well, that's just tough for the fans, you know. I mean, you know, sitting here
All
trying
right.
to get things working and make sure everything's going, and you know, it's fine. It's fine.
All right, Mr. South of North Kakalaki, Mr. Good old Maurice. I got a double question for you. They're kind of related to the same thing. So, first question from Fat Tony 99. It says protection arrow or crit avoidance arrow on Sith Trooper for an arena team on a Darth, Revan, and Malek team. And then the next question from Kane 77. What is the best mod kit for Malek?
Well, if it's Darth Revan versus Darth Revan, I guess it's going to be crit avoidance is probably going to do you better. I would think. Now, I don't know. I don't know if there's such a really the mechanic I don't understand is if their crit chance stacks up high enough. Does crit chance go above 100%? Like, can it stack infinitely? If that's the case, then 24% crit avoidance isn't going to do you any good. But the protection really isn't going to protect you from, you know, once you get like 10, 15 stacks of ferocity, the protection is not really going to do much for you anyway. You're just easy picking. So I think overall, probably crit avoidance would probably be slightly better, assuming you're not facing just, you know, if you're facing other teams and use them elsewhere. I think crit avoidance would be a little better. And the second question was
The Malek mod kit.
Oh, I've stacked as much protection on him as possible. Once you get that Zeta that allows him to take turns once he reaches a certain threshold, I don't think speed is quite as important as it is if you don't have that Zeta. Lots of protection. You can try tenacity. He does have, you know, defensive elements in his kit, but again, that ferocity will eventually just chew all that tenacity away. But it can help you prevent from being, you know, dazed. A lot of people are running like Anakin now, and Anakin has a buff block and a healing block on his basic that will prevent Malek from taunting and regenerating health from his special move that he'll get once he takes his bonus turn or gets the reach the threshold. So I guess tenacity and protection. I mean, I'm sure other people are running it differently. That's what I'm doing.
And what about the mod set themselves? What set?
Oh, the set. I am still running a speed set on him. I think I got maybe 100-ish to 105-ish additional speed. So it's a very tanky speed set. Then I think I'm running a health set on him just for the secondaries. I would probably do a tenacity set on him. If you're running maybe health, tenacity, if you don't need a speed set, don't have a speed set. That's probably what I would do.
Ooh, all right, real quick. I have like a personal question. Your shard Gom, your shard's day one, of course. Like who are you seeing with the faster mod set, Fallen Bastila or Darth Revan?
Revan is faster, obviously.
Well,
obviously, but you know, I people are doing like, you know, we'll just pull a number out, like 140 on Bastila, 135 on Revan. Like Bastila is getting the best set.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're seeing more of that of a variety, though?
Bastila gets the best mods. Revan is just faster by default. Yeah. I don't have any Bastilas going before Revan. I don't know what I would do with that.
No,
I had
no.
320 Bastila.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I mean I've been seeing more people kind of switching the mod set around myself on my shard too, and been seeing some pretty fast speeds on Bastila on top of the health and protection, and just curious.
Yeah, I was running a bit of I just for fun. I put a real heavy tenacity oriented set on Bastila, and she did resist. Like even if she's slower, she can resist that corrupted battle meditation. So, I'm still fooling around with that. So I mean, if you don't have the speed, you can
spread the shocks. Yeah,
you could try to run tenacity on her just so as long as she's going to lose tenacity with the ferocity, but if it's her first turn and she's slower, at least she has a small chance to resist that opposing corrupted battle meditation. And, because if you can't get her corrupted battle meditation off, you lose.
Right. It kind of creates like an extra layer, just like with the tanks in the beginning of the match. Right.
Yeah.
So and then to add to it too, like I've been testing mirror matches myself with slower mods, obviously, because there's always going to be somebody with faster mods on your shards at the end of the day. And, I've been kind of just working on a way to spam the shocks with Revan's lead, and as opposed to starting off with fear, spreading with the AoE fear, and then Bastila's shock if she's modded with enough offense. It's kind of like the concept with Jedi Knight Anakin, right? Like you just spam that shock and it's like a one-shot AoE on the whole team, basically.
All right. So next question, we'll go to Xylo, and this is a question from Twitch. It's from GG_SWGOH, and the question is: could the Padme event be easier based on the target unlock?
The event itself, like what do you mean, like layering? Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like the legendary, like again, like comparing it to the Chewbacca and the 3PO event. Like for me, Tier 5 was easy. Tier 6 was easy for the Chewie event, but I had Bossk, and then when I went into Tier 5 with the Ewoks, I held on to the Zeta for Chirpa. Like Dojason was doing the report with how many people were Zetaing Chirpa over the couple weeks before the event, right? So I wanted to see if I could at least get through Tier 5 and Tier 6 without the Zeta. The first 2 matches I went in, instantly lost them, and I was like, all right, time to put that Zeta on him. So I really feel like, pushing even 5 and 6 stars, you might need the Zeta on either like Grievous lead or some really good RNG, and have like an Asajj lead or some decently geared characters around her. So as the pieces are falling on the enemy side and your side, she's kind of going to ramp up her damage a little bit more. I mean, she's going to do her thing. Again, we're going to have to see the event first, and I definitely think it's going to be a pretty layered Zeta requirement for that 7th tier unlock for sure, or the 7th tier, the final tier.
All right, and quick shout out to Sword of the Jedi, who donated in the super chat in YouTube. He donated $10 and said, "Thanks RSG for the blue wrench, and for Warrior, what mattress is best for the sweet love after a major SWGOH win?" We will have to save that question for Warrior. Warrior unfortunately had something he had to leave, but we will ask him about post SWGOH lovemaking mattresses.
What?
That'll be a fun question to ask Warrior. I have to make sure I save that question for him. He's gonna come back like, was there any questions? Yeah, there was one specific for you, Warrior.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the top of the order to Miss Adastra. And this is a question from TiloMad92, and the question is: should I focus on Jedi Knight Anakin starring and gearing for fighting Darth, Revan, and Malak, or should I star and gear the Old Republic that are needed for the Darth, Revan, and Malak events, and then focus on Jedi Knight Anakin?
That's not a fair question.
It's like she knows the answer, but she doesn't want to say it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Well, we just got another donation.
Obviously, it's the priority is to getting these new characters. So if you need to work towards getting Darth Revan, because before we know it, he'll be back around. So you need to get into a good spot where you're ready for it and you're not panicking when it's announced that he's returning. So definitely, as painful it is to say, you gotta put Annie on the back burner and focus on those characters that are needed to get such a key character as Darth Revan. Like he's gonna be around for a long time, so you might as well get him too to be a part of that. And then just whatever you can spare, you can put towards Annie. But again, with the time things that they keep releasing, like there's more stuff to come. So like don't like you gotta focus on one thing at a time, basically. And
Yeah.
to get the Old Republic, building them up, that's a good team too, at least. Like they are useful for Territory Wars, Grand Arena. So you're kind of getting multiple teams for that at the same time. So like you'll build them up to get Darth Revan, I mean, and Malek, because Malek will come back shortly after Darth Revan, I'm sure. So so definitely, stay on target. As awesome and fun as Anakin is, I mean, again, I don't know what your situation is, but I'm imagining you are.
He's almost 12. Thank you for asking, Lady Adastra.
Well, to follow up too, I mean, like depending on your crystal income and what you're refreshing or what you're spending your crystals on, like you can do all of the hard nodes for the KOTOR characters, even if you're like not even level 85, right? And still do another hard node. But at that point, I would recommend, refreshing one of the KOTOR characters until you get one of them 7 stars, and then kind of round that down into Anakin, right? Like, so you finish, like, say, Bastila and get her to 7 stars. You're still working on Jolie and all the other hard nodes. But then you can inquire, starting, Anakin's farm while refreshing another one of those characters, like Jolie, and then, kind of tier down from there. So that way you can at least work on his stars for now, and his gear's kind of consuming for the KOTOR characters. So again, gear the KOTOR characters first, and then you can kind of tier down into them again.
Yeah, the plus side, the gear, they aren't needed to be a high level at all for for the Dark. Never mind. But some
well, yeah, totally. Like you only have to gear the light side ones, but you definitely want to focus on like the Jedi mission in Zalbar. Let T3 fall through the cracks, and you'll get what you want long term, like both the events.
All right, we got another donation here from King77. He donated $10. He says, "Can I get another review? After your advice, LOL." Finn, we gotta make it happen.
You know how that works. Just message me on Discord, Kane. We'll get you set up.
Yes, send a message to Finn. He'll get you squared away. We'll get you.
I gotta get going.
I know it's that time that lady.
Oh,
one fun question.
What?
One fun question for you before you go.
Oh,
from Durgan.
Oh, cool. Oh no, gotta go.
Oh Lord.
Would the 3 Jedi have survived longer under a Jedi Knight Revan or Grandmaster Yoda lead over a Mace lead when confronting Sidious?
Wait, what are you?
Episode.
I don't think I want to answer this.
Episode 3, when they go to arrest him.
Oh, I thought it's something else. Sorry, what was it?
So it was the Mace lead with the 3 Jedi, and then episode 3 they went to go arrest Sidious, Darth Sidious. You remember that from the movie? Yeah. So you think a Grandmaster Yoda there would have been better instead of a Mace lead?
Or a Jedi Knight Revan.
Or a Jedi Knight Revan.
I mean, obviously, if either one of them were there, it would have gone completely differently. So I was just so mad how they handled that scene in general. They just punked them, like, they just stood there and died, basically. So, yeah, if Yoda was there, maybe he could have inspired them better. If Revan was there, he would have just did his thing. He just would have handled
business himself. He would be like, "Let me show you the dark side."
Just imagine, like, the scene, like, redone, and Revan just walks in, pushes his mace over, like, "Bro, watch out, let me get this.
I got this. Stay aside, Brother Windu.
Let me show you how to use this real purple lightsaber."
Yeah, I've got.
Hey.
I've got 2 lightsabers, my friend. Don't you know who I am? I'm Revan.
I hope we get a Mace rework, though. Now that you mentioned that, we better get a Mace rework. Oh man. Okay.
Thank you, Adastra.
Bye, Lady Adastra.
Bye,
Have a good
Adastra.
day.
You too.
All right, let's get to the next question, and we'll go to Xylo for this one. We have a lot of bounty hunter questions today.
Hey, I can help.
Okay, we'll get you a next one then, Ranger.
That's right. I know nothing.
All right, so Xylo, question from JLY9 says, I've switched my bounty hunter team from Bossk lead to the Van Seal Django lead, and I like it. What are the pros and cons of Bossk lead versus Django lead?
There's no cons.
Yeah, right. Like either one. I mean, like I've been utilizing both and the whole bounty hunter faction itself. So I totally see where you're coming from. Like just the mechanics with filling the contracts and the layers between all of the mechanics of, bounty hunters just all spreading through the team, or, Bossk adding 50% protection to a team. It's really fun. And I've invested a lot of fast mods in all of those characters, and I keep working on them, man. The more you add to it, the more fun you'll have with them, and you'll definitely notice the defensive holds too.
Well, I think it's situational, right? And it depends on who you have for those teams. Bossk,
right, and mods too, yeah.
Right. If the reason I run Django lead is because, and it's a specific team that you need to run. You need people that are going to do AoE damage, because to get Django's payoff, you have to hit AoE damage, right? So you're not going to run the same team that you would run with the Bossk that you would with the Django. I mean, I run Django because that speeds up my boss to like almost damn near 300 speed. And then you add Boba Fett in there, so you've got 2 executioners that are just nasty. They both do AoE damage. Then you throw in someone like a Zam Wessel. She's really important in that team. And then also Dengar. He does an AoE. Now you can mix and match, but if you're going to run that team, it's totally based off speeds on your mods. It's got to be super fast, because you've got to be able to cause them to use a really, really good team, because if they don't, they're going to get destroyed. Now, if you're hurting a little bit more on mods and you want to run a more defensive team, then you want to go Bossk lead, because that when the payout, the contract's easier. You still want decent speed on it, but you can get away with a little bit more with a Bossk lead with 4 bounty hunters than you can with a Django lead. A little bit more situational, but it's really nasty once you get it done. But oh my God, just like with most of these teams, Corbantes are your enemy.
Yeah.
So just get ready.
Golden eyeballs, stun guns, especially from gear 11,
God.
gear 12.
Because I have to do Zams and Dengar. They're only gear 9 and 10. But,
yeah.
I've been so focused on Darth Malek and some other characters, I'm like, good God and gravy.
Before the Darth Revan and Malak event came around, while I was hoarding, I was chipping away at those guys. And, I just need to finish a few pieces left on Zam, Django, and Cad Bane. And then all of them will be gear 12. And, I've been incorporating faster mods on them too. And, looking at the team, like Van Seal's team, the real MVP on there is Zam, right? Because she's one of the fastest characters in the game. If you give her a really fast set, she's going like lightning fast under both Bossk and Django lead.
Yeah.
And then thermal detonators are just everywhere, all over the place. She's shooting multiple times. And on top of that, like Ranger said too, there's 2 different executes on the team. Boba benefits from the thermals a lot. And, the best thing is once you get that team rounded up, 3v3, you can have 3-4 bounty hunter teams if you have a little bit of depth in your scoundrel faction, and it's a very fun team to invest in.
Yep. All right. Next question, Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman.
All right. Next question for good old Maurice. It's another bounty hunter question. We have a lot of bounty hunter focus today.
This is right up. He's good old Maurice is very much scum and villainy, so this is right up his alley.
JLY9 question: thoughts on Aura Singh lead with Embo, Greedo, IG88, and L3 as a second bounty hunter team. Aura keeps all squishy bounty hunters stealth, while L3 sucks up the damage, and contracts can go off quick.
Well, I don't have Aura Sig, so for me to like theory craft with 2 bounty hunter guys in the panel is kind of silly. Can I pass that one off? I mean,
no, you will answer the question because you're supposed to be a subject matter expert, Maurice. Give us your thoughts, and then we'll tell you. See, this is how this works. You give your answer, and then me and then Zai will tell you how wrong you are.
Well, if I could confess, you immediately said Aura Singh lead, and I immediately tuned out and was ready to play.
We'll pass it to Xylo. Xylo, what do you think?
All right, Zai, what do you think?
So I've played with the lead a little bit. I mean, I definitely like L3, but if you're wanting to use her somewhere else in like a prepared mechanic team with Bandor or something like that, it's kind of consuming, even though it kind of benefits the second bounty hunter team, right? So there's a lot of other scoundrels or other bounty hunters you can utilize. Like, for example, the one bounty hunter that doesn't go under stealth other than Bossk is Cad Bane, because he's a support character. So putting him there as the fifth, it kind of defeats the purpose, because either way, with Orsing, like whoever that one character is that doesn't go under stealth is going to either take a lot of damage, or that's the idea, is to make that character like a magnet, right? So it's not the ideal perfect team, but like if I would put someone else in there like L3 or Stormtrooper Han, or just a general auto taunter, even Shore Trooper would be a good one. He'll heal the team and give them crit damage immunity too. So there's a couple of different things you can test, but I've seen and used L3 in that spot, and she again is like the magnet, and she just gets focused down right away, so she doesn't have time to even stack up that much health and protection, because the team that they're going to go in with is going to be like a run and gun type of team. So you want to utilize like a bunch of different stuns and mechanics to kind of slow down the opposition and let them ramp up their damage and buffs. So yeah,
it's not the
L3's good
it's
there,
not the
but
ideal. Yeah, it's not the ideal position for L3.
you're kind of like sacrificing L3 there. So you use something else that's kind of going to benefit you a little bit more. Like in 3v3, I always use Orsing, Greedo, and Cad Bane, because Cad Bane's the only one who's not going to go under stealth, and then you're forced to go after him first, and it kind of lets Greedo and or kind of start ramping up and doing their thing.
All right. Next question for good old Maurice. Question
Let's try this again. No Orsing, no Imbo, please.
No more
Okay.
scum and villainy. Get used to it.
All right. Question from Paparazzi. What are the 3 most important separatist droid Zetas?
Yes. All right.
He's like, I got all of those. Yes, let's do this.
3 most important is going to 100% be B2. Is B2, B1, and probably the Grievous lead are probably the 3 most important. You don't have a separatist droid team without the B2 Zeta. It's way too slow without that Zeta. I think that is arguably a coin flip, almost as important as Grievous's lead. But both Grievous lead, B2 do first, then B1. Droideka is a very, very good one, but that's one you might be able to put off until you get them 6, 7 star. If you got like a 3-star Droideka, I wouldn't do that Zeta yet. IG 100s is very, very underrated. If you use the droids offensively, then you probably want to consider IG 100 at some point. The other team is never buffed with B2. You want to build your B2 very, very, very tenacious. Don't worry about potency as much. All tenacity on B2. So he cannot get dazed. He can't get stunned and all that madness. So he can just continually take down the buffs of the opposing team. IG 100, every turn he takes, he has the option of stunning a character with that Zeta. If you slap him on defense, it's kind of worthless because the AI probably doesn't play him right and trying to stun somebody with a buff or something like that. So B2, B1, and Grievous lead definitely for that team. I think that team is perfectly fine with just those 3, though. So, yeah.
All right. Next question from Sean Ragnar, the Red Kelly, for Xylo. I need to give a question to Ranger. So let me give this one to Ranger.
Oh!
So a question from Sean Ragnar, the Red Kelly. Question, any ideas on any characters that will come from the new territory battle? By the way, throwing your BB-8 with your General Grievous team with these bonuses, the extra speed with that offense boost is lethal. Worked great in our last territory war.
It can. I think we did the same thing. Generally, it's because it's a one-off. You usually almost always want BB-8 with JTR, but when you get something that ridiculous in territory wars, you just got to run with it. It's like the Hans. They're back, folks, and by golly, are they out for blood. I hate that team so much. Oh, Jesus. But give me the first part of the question again, because I got on that BB-8 tangent.
Sure. Any ideas on any characters that can come from this new territory battle?
Well, there's a lot of ways they can go. So one of the things that I do is, I've been doing a lot of Battlefront for a long time on this channel, and you can see a lot of the compare. EA owns both and does both for Battlefront and this game, right? And you see a lot of the correlations. So if you think Geonosis, what are the things that they could add? Someone was asking me the other day, do you think they're going to give a character? Yeah, they could, but what could it be? What are our options? Are they going to stay with the Battle Geonosis, or are they just going to stay Clone Wars? I think some of the characters we are going to get are more clones. If you look in Battlefront, for instance, there are so many damn legions of clones that you can just get based off their just their skins. You got the 501st, and there's the Coruscant Guard. There's just so many different ways they could go with the clones and add more characters to give more depth to the clones. I think there's going to be a couple things: more clones, more reworks to the Jedi, which makes sense. I'm just hoping for Mace. Probably a couple more Jedi that we're going to get for this, for Geonosis. There's going to be some more Separatists. There's the Commando droid that they can do, the Assassin droid that they can bring in that's from Battlefront 2, and we have seen it in this game. I was shocked when they came into Battlefront. I'm like, well, the correlations continue. So they could add some more droids. I don't think we're going to get anything like the Geonosis Queen, but I do think we'll get some more different droids along that line, some more Jedi, some more reworks, some more clones. I don't think they're going to give any main characters. I mean, Padme's coming into the game, so I don't think we're going to get anything there. So there's a lot of different ways they can go because the Clone Wars is such a rich diversity of characters and groups. We saw the new one. The name makes it escaping me. We saw from the new preview of the Clone Wars Season 7 coming out. What was the 5 badasses? I can't think of it. So they can go a lot of different ways.
The Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch. There you go. Thank you. I knew it was bad something. I was thinking Bad Blood. I'm like, that's not it. So
yeah. What was it? Experimental Task Force 99.
Oh God. So
it's awesome.
They could bring just those characters in, and I'd be fine. I'm like, clones are good.
Oh man, I'm so excited that they're gonna be in this new season 7, bro.
God, so there's a lot of ways to go. So we'll wait and see. But those are some of the general directions that I know they're gonna go, and we'll wait and see which ones they go with.
Well, they showed that Mon Calamari that Grande was super confused about on Wednesday.
Yeah, couldn't.
They showed him already in the in the trailer.
That they pulled.
Yes. That was awesome. You guys played that because I had no idea. I missed the video altogether. Didn't even know it came out on Twitter. And you guys played it. That was great. That was cool to capture that. So,
well, Finn had sent it to me earlier. And I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And then it's like, "Well, just go to the link." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "It's not there anymore." And Finn's like, "Well, you're doing it wrong." And he's like, "No, I'm not. It says it's no longer there." And Finn's like, "Oh, they pulled it." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Just another thing too. Yeah, please. Oh my goodness. Clone rework. Another thing I wanted to mention too is, if you've seen the trailer a couple times and if you're a fan of the Clone Wars series, you know who Trench is, Admiral Trench for the Separatists, right? The spider who's kind of been in a lot of the earlier series episodes, and then he kind of bounced back in the Lost episodes. He's going to have this story arc with the Bad Batch and everything too. So potentially we could see him as another Separatist character. And like Ranger mentioned, some more droids would be a nice little plus with that too. But just having another niche Separatist support character, I could see him come into the game soon, and the story arc and everything.
All right. Let's go to Xylo for our next question. And this question is from Jason Coonan. And his question is, I've heard you guys mention that it's difficult to drop capital ships due to balance of territory wars in Grand Arena. Do you think it's possible they could drop 4 at one time?
Well, see, I was mentioning that, I think last week during one of the launch streams. They're adding so many layers to capital ships, like, say, for example, if they make a Sith capital ship, right? You have majority 3 dark side capital ships and then to light side. So then, you know, like say you have to release another Galactic Republic capital ship with the Clone War era coming around, and then the Separatists need a capital ship, and you know, it'll kind of be like off balance. So I could see them releasing more than one at a time because, you know, the community's been saving up prestige. Like majority of us here have 2,000 plus prestige for when the next capital ship comes around. So I think they're going to throw us a curveball and be like, all right, well, when we redid ships and introduced capital ships and the events and all that kind of stuff, they're tiered through the days until you 7-star them all, right? So I could see them adding more ships at once, but it would just depend on the time. Like, I don't see it happening anytime soon. Maybe an introduction of a separatist capital ship with this new territory battles coming, because you'll need, you know, light side and dark side ships and everything like that. And the special mission, for example, like when you're on the dark side territory battles, you need Thrawn's capital ship, right? So again, bringing Trench into the game as a, you know, capital ship and a fleet commander makes sense because it's another character, another layer they can add to the Separatists with synergy and other droids, and potentially putting him into a Grievous team, anything like that, and giving him that capital ship to lead the Geonosians and additional Separatist ships they plan on introducing. And you know, if they release more than one capital ship at a time, I probably see it more towards the end of the year with like a Resistance and a First Order capital ship. So maybe we could see 3 this year, and they would kind of scale off a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the other part to the question in terms of the balance and everything, here's going to be the inherent problem, right? Right now, we have gotten used to a 1-to-3 ratio of defensive ships versus offense, right? We put 1 on defense. We have 3 potential ships on offense in order to attack that 1 on defense of your opponent. And so we're at a 1-to-3 ratio of defense to offense. Characters has completely made this weird, because while players consider, I would say maybe about half of the characters useless for the most part, there are like 170 different characters, and in territory wars we're effectively putting 4 on defense per person on average, right? And so we have almost like 35 or something teams for offense for every 1 that we're putting on defense. So what's effectively happening is that the ratios on how we're looking at ships in territory wars is different than Grand Arena. And it's actually because Grand Arena, we're putting a lot more individually on defense, right? We're almost putting about 8 teams, 7 teams, 8 teams, 9 teams. I mean, it varies based on your GP, right? And you can put up to, I think it's 11 teams, right? It's like 3-3, 3-2 for the highest level. So you're putting 11 teams on defense. And so that leaves about 30 teams on offense. That gets you closer to the 1-to-3 ratio. And so if they end up expanding ships, I don't think they have to drop all 4 at one time. What they have to look to do is to see whether or not they do want to change the ratio of offense to defense, and whether or not we want to put 2 on defense and 3 on offense. Is that ratio enough for people to beat the teams, right? And that's what they'll have to look at.
Well, another thing is value too, right? Like you're investing in a bunch of characters for ships early on that kind of aren't relevant at the top, right? So like you're investing in Empire and you're investing in the Geos and you're climbing, but it's irrelevant because then you kind of have to backtrack and work on the Rebels and, you know, the bounty hunters to get Home One or Millennium Falcon. And, you know, it kind of adds this layer of depth that you don't really need, right? Like you've invested in some of the characters because of the characters, but not the ships, right? So you have, like you said, you have one potentially really good offensive minded team, and then you're working into a team for defense. It just and then the rest of them fall through the cracks, right? Like, so it doesn't really add value to invest in any of these other ships as you tier on. So maybe kind of looking back, what they need to do is like kind of what they did with ETA-2, right? Like when they introduced Anakin's ETA-2 Starfighter, it gave so much more offensive value to the Mace timeout teams, right? Like because they were so defensive minded and only had that one comp other than spreading target lock as an offensive standpoint. Now with ETA-2, that one ship comes in and makes it not only an offensive minded team, but a valuable team. So, I mean, like just looking back, like when they, you know, add to the Separatists, for example, they need to, create more value to beat the Millennium Falcon teams, right? And, in a reason to invest in these characters and the ships.
All right. Next question for good old Maurice from Italian Stallion. So this question, what are your thoughts on the Grievous unique? Is it conceivable that he could carry an undergeared droid team or other separatists?
He could carry an undergeared droid team. I think for these specific bonuses we have in Territory Wars right now with the droid bonuses, I think his unique is super valuable, but that's a very, very temporary type of thing. I do not personally have this Zeta. I laid off on this Zeta just because in Arena, I don't know if it really. I think this is more of if we find like a raid comp with these separatist droids, I think it's going to be almost mandatory because that would be super valuable. It doesn't work with every time B1 dies, but let's see. Grievous, he dispels all buffs himself. Whatever droid or separatist ally is defeated, Grievous dispels all debuffs himself, resets all ability cooldowns, and gains 1 bonus turn. It's a good Zeta. You're talking about 6 Zetas on a team now. Or maybe this could be the 4th, I guess, if you wanted to do it. What was the specific thing he asked about? He asked about the
Grievous unique.
If it's worth it?
Yes.
Is that basically the question?
And if he could carry, if he can carry undergeared. Yep.
He could carry undergeared unless they just burst down General Grievous. Then that Zeta's not going to do anything good. But that's generally how you take out these droids. You get Grievous down real quick below health, and then try to quickly dispel the taunt, just finish him off. Kind of like, God, there was an old character like that in the meta. Anakin. When Anakin's first rework, you try to get the character just at like 51, 52% health and just stall and then burst him down. That way Anakin doesn't go again and again and again.
Or like Asajj before zombie.
Yeah. There's stuff like that. So, it's easy to get around, but offensively, I think that Zeta would be good. A lot of these Zetas really depend. I mentioned it before. Like if you're using the droids on offense, this Zeta and IG-100s are far more attractive, I think, than on defense. So I guess if you use your droids on defense, I'd maybe hold off on the unique. But if you've already got 3-4 Zetas on the team, you might as well, at the same time, you're like, might as well go out this week.
I totally agree with the first 3 because those are the the ones that make the most sense and fuel the team. But like you said, once you start hitting 4, 5, 6 Zetas, it's kind of like you might as well just pull the trigger, right?
It's one to consider, man. I would personally hold any Zetas that you have right now. We have a lot of stuff coming. We've got new characters.
Yeah.
They've mentioned rework several times. We've all seen those Star Wars celebrations, things that people, this is what I heard spread around the community. We've got a lot of stuff coming. Even Ahsoka, Kenobi, Anakin, those they need Zetas now. So you really want to see what develops. I wouldn't put that Zeta on that now. That's final answer.
That's a good point. Yeah, because and like you just mentioned with the team, this one team alone requires 6 Zetas. The Darth Revan team takes 8. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a trending thing now. It's just finding the right investments as they're layering, right? So Padme's going to come out. She could potentially have 2 Zetas too on top of all the new Jedi team that you just mentioned as well. So it's what is the right investment to make that team work, and then kind of tearing down your Zetas from there.
Yeah, the droids are serviceable with 3 Zetas. I would do those 3 Zetas first and just sit on everything else and see, and then maybe go back to them. If you don't like any of the new stuff, it's unobtainable for you, whatever, then you can go back and maybe finish your droids.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's science.
All right. And I think we have the return of Mr. Warrior.
Oh!
Are you there, Mr. Warrior?
Yes, I am.
Oh, crap.
Hooray!
I need to change his name. Oh, Lord.
Scissors.
Oh, there's
right.
Warrior Presents. Yay! I don't have to change his name.
All right. So, Warrior, we had a specific fun question for you. I'll give that to you during the fun segment here. But for your question now, if you're
let's
ready
give
for
Warrior
one.
some questions because he's not been here. Let's give a lot of questions to Warrior. Let's just have a fireside chat with Warrior.
All right, Warrior, from Bad Rongo. what are some 3v3 bounty hunter team comps?
Well, there's a ton. Truly, it depends on what Zetas that you have, that, how you want to go. But one of them that I like to use on offense is Jango Fett, Boba Fett, Cad Bane. And the reason for that is Cad Bane's got the stun, and Jango Fett and Boba Fett can target whoever the heck they want. And on 3v3, a lot of times there's obviously like a tank of some sort on the other side that kind of hangs you up, and that's kind of the point. In 3v3, one tank actually makes a huge. It's a tank is much more impactful on 3v3 than it is 5v5. So if you can go around that, like will CLS can put up his buff and just target whoever he wants. That makes him a good offensive character, because then on offense you can target who you want. Same thing is with Boba Fett and Jango. And what's cool is if Jango kills anyone on his turn, they don't come back. So a lot of people like to set multiple Night Sister teams on defense, or at least one on defense. So the same thing. I really like my Jango and Boba combo because I always win first time against Night Sisters, and there's lots of other team comps that have tanks that I can't get around. A good one that actually I like is the Scoundrels. A lot of times people build that Scoundrel team with like L3. L3 is super annoying unless you have characters that can just ignore her, which is exactly the point, and then you can kill. So Jango Boba combo is something I use on offense all the time with great success. On defense, I like to use Bossk as a lead. Obviously, I think he's got one of the best payouts, one of the easiest to get to payouts, and then preferably like to have a couple of AOE people with him. Like Boba Fett does work well with him, but I keep him on offense. And you obviously want Dengar under him because Dengar is just extremely durable. The third is can be anything. Obviously, the preferred thing is to kind of put someone like maybe Greedo, lots of damage, and he does lots of AOEs. And so you need that. You need the AOEs to kind of go around taunt to make sure you still get payout regardless. But if you use someone like Embo, and then you do his Zeta, can't be critically hit. Good luck. It's so difficult.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I go against that all the time, and it's like in 3v3, it's in 5v5 you can get JTR and a bunch of droids or CLS, or you can bring it in your first order even possibly. I mean, there's a lot of options, but your options when it's 3v3 drop drastically because the synergy drops drastically. You only have 3 characters, and you got to have the damage output, and it's really hard to have the damage output with only 3 characters, and he just can't be so that Zeta, it's on my list of to-dos. So that's a really great defensive team I use. I don't have the Zeta, but that's the defense I set. I've also done on offense. I don't do it on defense because it's not as good, but the other, just hodgepodging the others together if needed. I really like running, and I'm drawing a blank at this very second. My brain's a bit scattered. I apologize, guys, but what's her face really fast?
Zam.
Yeah, Zam Wessel. Sorry, I love putting her as the lead. Zam is amazing, actually, and then running her with like Cad Bane, or not Cad Bane, but Greedo, because of the thermal debt synergy. It's amazing how many thermals you can get down with a 3-person thermal team, and when they explode, just how devastating thermals are now in comparison to the past. After the thermal rework that happened, 6-8 months ago. So, yeah, there's a lot of different combinations and options with bounty hunters.
Yeah, Zam's kind of like the Mother Talzin of bounty hunters with her leadership, and then the thermal mechanic for sure. It's a really interesting mechanic now.
All right. So let's go to Xylo here for the next question.
We'll give Warrior a couple more questions. He's been away, and then we'll go more to the rest of the panel.
We'll give another one to Warrior then.
Yes. Give another one to Warrior, then we'll go to Stunner Jedi, who I really just want to hear from The Apprentice.
All right. So Warrior question from Darth Skywalker. What do you think the new clone rework will look like?
I think that we will see 1, maybe 2 new characters. 1 probably minimum, but 2 maximum. I don't foresee them adding a bunch. I think, touch-ups. I think they defined, reworks and touch-ups as two different things now officially on the forums this last week. So I think that there's going to be some touch-ups with the other ones just to try to create a little bit of stuff. What that means is they're going to go into the existing kit, leave it basically exactly the same, but just add like one thing to it. Like if it crits, it goes straight to health and ignores damage or ignores protection, something like that, which means that all of them, then the crit's going to just take out health. Something like that makes them more viable, where all they do is just literally add a singular tweak and it makes the whole team all of a sudden insanely good again. I don't see them doing reworks on any of the clones, just touch-ups. And by definition, that means they're just going to kind of tweak the kits. The new character, though, I think the new character or characters will bring a slight bit more new synergy and a few mechanics that are lacking. So when we have a faction, if you've noticed, they try to have every aspect of the game in each faction. So each faction can do buff immunity, each faction can do ability block, each faction can do stun. Like they try to make sure that there is a character for everything. There's a dispeller, there's a cleanser, there's a this and a that, a heavy damage dealer, a tank, blah blah blah. They try to balance each faction. So I could see them realizing there is some new debuff mechanics that have been kind of left behind with some of these older factions. So I could see them adding some of the new mechanics. For example, and this is not a new mechanic, but they don't do stagger at all. Stagger's actually a really great mechanic because you can throw it down and then hit everybody and they all lose their turn and you get a second bonus turn for your entire team. Stagger is great. They don't do that. So adding stagger to one or two of their accounts, like for example, you could actually put that on Fives basic. He does speed down and stagger for 2 turns, something like that. And it's going to give you a competitive edge you wouldn't otherwise have. So I see some touch-ups coming for those teams, and touch-ups should be actually real easy for them to do. They're significantly less man hours to do some touch-ups, and then I see them probably building like a singular or maybe 2 characters to add to that. So yeah, that's what I think will happen, but I don't know because I don't know.
Okay. I think we have one more question for everyone. So let's start with Xylo here.
Yeah, Stoner Jedi.
All right. So Xylo, question from Sith Lord 72. And he says, thoughts on when we might get a new raid? Also, what would you like a new raid to be set? Where would you like for it to be set? And who would you like the character that we earn charged for to be?
Well, probably, if you look at the Sith raid, it came out, what was it, beginning of February last year? So we're over a year in the Sith right now. For me personally, I would like to see something based around like the episode 9. Maybe it's hard to tell because we haven't seen episode 9 obviously, but it would be kind of cool to go in that direction with not only like some newer First Order and Resistance characters through a raid or the guild store in general. They've added characters like that potentially before, not just the First Order faction with ships, but the Resistance characters are in that store as well. And then, just them, if you look at the raids in general, like where they're based on through the storyline, right? The Rancor from the original trilogy, the Clone Wars with the tank, and the KOTOR era with the Sith Triumvirate raid. I think it'd be cool to kind of have a raid based on this trilogy, and where better to do it than the final episode of the trilogy, and how big of an impact this episode looks like it's going to have in the era, and the characters in general, like between the First Order and the Resistance faction. A lot of people have a special place in them, or a special place in their hearts for those characters. And like me, for example, I like the First Order a lot, but obviously they're not, a real PvP viable team. And, I'd like to see some, value come to those 2 factions again. And, obviously the Resistance had their time, and, Crew being an auto taunter and his mechanics, he had some hodgepodge hybrid teams in the meta, but, the First Order never really saw their time in the meta. So, releasing some newer characters through a raid and, going through some different tiers of a raid with that movie in general, I think would be amazing.
All right. Next question, we'll go to Warrior because I think good old Maurice had stepped away for a minute. So, Warrior.
He said he's back.
Oh, he's back? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So let me give this to good old Maurice then. So, question from Shadow Veil. How do I mod Clone Wars Chewie?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm assuming you want to run him with that Vandor Chewbacca L3 type comp. Let me make sure these new characters haven't. Yeah, he's still a top 10 character in terms of like a max health pool. And, Vandor Chewbacca, the reason you use Clone Wars Chewbacca, especially in 3 vs 3, you use both the Chewies, Vandor and Clone Wars and L3. And every time a character, they get the defense up, which means that Vandor Chewbacca will always be buffed and always counter. So you actually have some damage on the team. He really does nothing in terms of production. So you just want to build him. You want to utilize that super large health pool he has. If you don't have 16% health primaries, the circle, the cross, the triangle, then go with protection because 5.88 just simply isn't enough to really warrant using it. So if you do have some spare 60 health primaries, you want to use those on him because Vandor will heal him based on his max health. All the healing on this team is based off max health. So you really want to get all 3 of those characters, maybe not L3, but you want to get Vandor and Chewbacca with as much health as possible. Just build him health, maybe 2 health sets, a defense or a tenacity set, just lots of health. He does have pretty low resistance, so defense is not the best option, but I mean it's better than things he doesn't need like offense. He doesn't really do much damage. Maybe a little potency. He does have a small element of turn meter manipulation, but it's so so small that I just health defense tenacity. Final answer.
All right.
Yeah.
And then our last regular question before we get into fun questions for Warrior. And this question is from Darth Scion 1972. He says, I have the Geos and Grievous all gear 12. Should I gear Asajj or B2 for the Padme event? I can't farm Droideka or B1 in time.
So Asajj or B2? Well,
Correct.
B2 provides no offensive capability, and while the Geos max are kind of okay, I don't think it's nearly enough DPS for an event like this. So I would say Asajj Ventress needs to be in there because she brings stun and dispel and damage and AoE defense down and all sorts of other things that's going to help. So yeah, it would be Asajj all the way in my opinion. Plus, just outside of this event, Asajj is like a necessary character. B2 is great circumstantially, in certain circumstances. So as a all-around better character to develop, plus I think more suited for this event, I would work on Asajj Ventress.
All right. And that gets us to our fun questions. So, Warrior, while you were away, we had a super chat donation that had a question for you. And this is from Sword of the Jedi. And he said, for Warrior, what mattress is best for sweet love after a major SWGOH win?
I would recommend an i8 with a FlexFit 3 adjustable base with a gentle foot warming to help gently put you to sleep faster.
This question has totally been asked in the store before, hasn't it? You were prepared for that one.
Well, mine is the SWGOH part, I would imagine.
I'm just shocked how clean
it's personal experience, guys.
Yeah.
This is the exact
Brown
one.
chicken, brown cow.
Oh man!
All right. Ranger, I think the next 2 questions are for us. So the first one from Andy Larson. How about that last Saturday stream, huh?
What about it? How about now?
How about now?
How about now?
Andy Larson is trolling everyone. Then the next one, Shadow Veil. When is the segment What a Whale Wants coming back? We do need to bring that back probably
That
on
was a
Wednesday.
good one. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. We can definitely bring that back. I'm also working on commercials and stuff to bring those back on Wednesday now that I have a little bit more time after this week is done. So I'm all in the works. All right. Next question from RSG Vormax. We can go around the corn here. If CG ever releases a new mod set, what would you like it to be? And silence goes over everywhere. Mine would be protection, because I think anything else that we've seen in the past, like the retribution or the foresight or whatever, like some of those things would break the game. So I would just go simply with protection. We have that as a primary on mods and stuff, and I think all the other primaries except for crit avoidance all have their own set as well that provides a bonus. So I would say protection.
Yeah, I mean, I would like both of those. I mean, because the dynamic of protection and crit avoidance now is so big in the game, right? I mean, like, it just adds this other layer. Like, defense on its own is like, it's a one niche, bland kind of mod, right? So, like, when you get, like, an offensive cross defense with defense, you know, and speed and all this, it's like, you're only using that for the speed, right? You know what I mean? So, like, creating another layer to actually utilize like crit avoidance and protection primaries would be great.
All right. Next one from Tenebrous. Do you think there's any chance we will see Severance Tan for Darkside Geonosis? Ranger, what are your thoughts?
I'm sneezing. Go to someone else.
Like that would be pretty cool, man. We could possibly get a dark acolyte. We could get a dark acolyte faction, yeah, because we already have a couple of them in the game. Am I just making this up? Am I thinking of the right character? I'm not the Star Wars lore expert here. I don't.
Sorry.
Yeah, she's with the Dark Acolytes. That would be our second Chiz in the game, right? We have
I think Savage and Asajj would qualify for that faction. Yes.
Yes.
So I mean, there's three. I mean, that would be cool. Give us a whole other little sub faction within a faction. See how deep we can go within factions. It starts getting a little ridiculous, but that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
All right. One for Around the Corn from Jason Krolick. What do you think CG has planned for May the 4th?
Clone War Chewie shards. And then I have no idea. Maybe we'll get double drops again. Ooh.
Well, they gave us a lot of gear, and they gave us a full Zeta, not a full Zeta, but a lot of Zeta mats last year in Omega. Mm-hmm. So I hope the same for this year at least. I mean, maybe some. Yeah, I'm kind of stretching this. I would hope, a new character like the last time they gave us a free character was, I believe, Bodhi Rook out of the Galactic War store, right? Like, here, you can go farm this character right away. Like, something like that.
I think they're going to give us a wonderful opportunity to spend our hard-earned money on something.
Tax time.
Of course.
That goes without saying, God.
Limited edition May the 4th character you can only get on that one day.
Oh no!
Until 3 months later when they decide to put it in a hard note anyway.
And they'll finally accept the fact that everybody hates the packs, and so they'll just offer a pack that has 330 shards and it'll be $499. They'll just be like, we're embracing it. We're on the second half of the game. It doesn't really matter at this point. It's 500. Take it or leave it, and they'll know. All the whales will just be like, all right, click.
That's a way to purchase things too, right? Like, they're gonna probably put out a bunch of the energy packs, hopefully, and then maybe some of the Omega packs.
They could even say this character will only ever be available ever in the history of mankind today for $500 only, and they would probably break the bank. I mean, they'd probably have every whale in the entire game in the history. People would come out of retirement to buy it just so they had it in their collection.
Jesus.
God, I would hate that so much because I would never be able to unlock that character, and it would just sit in my character screen as just locked with no way to get shards. That would drive me insane.
If anything beat this character, if anything beat the character, they'd immediately nerf it for the next 6 months, guaranteed.
What? What did you say?
All right, and then the last question, but it's a little bit of a non-question. Helenith asked, could we remind folks of the GoFundMe for Paul Anthony's wife? So if you guys aren't familiar with what's happening with Paul, his wife Kristen was diagnosed with cancer If you head to the RSG Discord and you go to the community announcements section, you will see the GoFundMe for Paul, who is part of the Escape podcast. And there's also a little blurb by Paul Anthony there that's just thanking everyone that has donated.
Yeah, he was on the lunch stream yesterday.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys are able to, definitely check that out. I'm looking at the page right now. They're at almost 7,200 out of their 10,500 goal.
Oh,
so
amazing.
They're on their way. Over 70% of their goal has been met. So thank you all very much. And make
Can
sure
I
you
add to that?
Mhm.
If like Ranger and them said that he was on the show yesterday. Also, they have, if they reach their max goal, I believe it was 15,000 overall. They're gonna do a music video with what was it, Cubs, Urza, and Going Nerdy. They're gonna do like a music video.
Don't forget about me.
And Ranger, he has the green screen too. So if Ranger's gonna be there too, on top of that, like it's gonna be like the alternate music video for Ice Ice Baby, but it's gonna be called Slice Slice Baby. So that'd be hilarious, and I'm sure Paul would appreciate reaching that max goal. And he's a great guy, man. We've all been affected by cancer in some way, and it's just it's horrible thing that's happened to him and his wife, but as a community coming together, it's great to see everybody kind of bonding together over this, and the ACS over this year. So it's something that I'm sure the community can help them reach for sure.
All right. And that's it for the questions.
Well, it's time to wrap up the show, and this is where we allow everybody to pimp their stuff. And we're going to start with...
Let's start with good old Maurice. I don't know if good old Maurice, you have time to pimp your stuff really quick?
Yeah, we're right on cue, huh? Okay. I am one half of the Operation Metaverse team. I got a YouTube channel stream on Tuesday nights, 9:30 EST, about the game. We're starting to get into the streaming of the events and stuff. We did the Malek event. We'll probably do some of the future events as well. Working on some videos. I'm also on the Remote Azab fanboy train. We do a stream on Sunday nights, right around 11, in between 11 and 12. We'll say 11:30. Also discussing the game, news, heavy type stream, go over the meta report. All the current hot topics. Ramon does some gameplay. Everyone makes fun of his 2 mods and call it a night.
All right.
You guys have a good one. I've got a split.
That's right. You get out of here, good old Maurice.
Thanks,
Go do
Maurice.
your cackle.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Warrior next.
Yeah, Scissorman. Running with Scissorman Warrior. Please pimp your wonderful
stuff. You can find me here every Saturday morning for the most part. You can also find me on my channel, Warrior Presents, and Warrior's Roster Reviews. I have 2. I'm trying to do a couple of roster reviews, at least one a week, or a couple of them every other week. And then I'm trying to do a minimum 1 live stream a week of my Scissorman account, and then when possible, other videos on my main account when I have the time. Obviously, not a whole lot of time lately, so it is what it is. But appreciate for those who have stuck by me for this entire last 3 years and watched my content and supported it, and for all the new people that are just starting the game over the last few months and really enjoying the Scissorman stuff. There's much more of that to come, and for everybody else who likes the theory crafting and whatnot, from time to time I'll be able to kick some stuff out, and you can meet me here also and ask all the questions you'd like.
That's pimpalicious. And then last but not least, with my apprentice, Stoner Jedi.
Yeah, you guys can check me out on YouTube, Takedown Games, Xylo Takedown. Got a lot of content from top to bottom, raids, ships, territory wars, do a lot of Grand Arena live streams. If you have any questions, my Discord is on the About page on my YouTube channel too as well. You're more than welcome to join and invite anyone you'd like to as well. A couple of focus members of the community, as well as members of the RSG crew on there too as well. If you're also interested in any questions from building a new account, I've been focusing on an alt the last couple weeks. So I've got a lot of like-minded members in the community on the Discord. So I really appreciate you subscribing to the channel and joining the Discord. And I hope you guys enjoy the content and got plenty more videos down the road as well.
Alrighty then, Dr. Finn, we've made it through another episode. Can you believe it?
Hooray!
And for us, this is RSG, Reality Skewed Gamers. We do this every Saturday from 10 to 12 p.m. Eastern. So this is a straight Q&A show, but that's not all we do. Monday through Fridays from 12 to 1 p.m. we do the lunch hour stream, where we just hang out and do Ross reviews and answer your questions about the game. Wednesday nights, and we're coming up to our 150th episode. Wow. For the longest running stream in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community. So check that out. We have other content that you can check out as well that we do. We do D&D on Sundays. We do Battlefront. Finn, when he feels like it, does different games. What game were you playing recently? Anthem? Or whatever that was?
So I'm playing a lot of games outside. The problem is my connection hasn't been good for streaming lately. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but that hasn't been good. So yeah. I've had to put my streaming on hold unless we really need to, like on the Wednesday stream when Comcast was not nice to you.
Yeah, it's been pretty stable the last couple of days. I think my last rant on them worked, Finn, but we'll see. You can never trust that. But do me a favor, guys. Give us a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitch. Thank you, everybody in Twitch that was there. We got your questions, too, and we appreciate you guys following us there as well. If you haven't followed us on Twitch, please do. Check out our Patreon. Love our Patreon sponsors. They are what keep the lights on and the bills paid. If you'd like to support us in that way, please check out our Patreon page. Maybe consider being a Patreon. Donate every month to the channel. We do a lot of cool things for our Patrons, and so you're more than welcome to do that. And then do me another favor, guys. Check out these other channels. Give them a thumbs up. Subscribe to their channel. It matters. It helps them with their content so that they can keep putting out the content you guys enjoy. These wonderful people come on here every Saturday along with us and, take time out of their schedules to be here to answer your questions and help you out with your game. So that's all they really require. It's not that big a deal. Just give them a thumbs up, subscribe, watch their videos, things of that nature. Not a hard task. So if you could do that for us and for them, it would be very much appreciated. So I think that wraps up this episode of Jedi Academy. Thank you guys very much for being here with us. We appreciate all your support. We'll have D&D tomorrow. I don't think we have any videos coming out, do we, Finn? No.
Not today. There's a few things in the works. I mentioned this before. We're going to have commercials again on the Wednesday stream. I have a commercial that I'm working on right now. Yeah, we also have a lore video that we're working on. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, we have some stuff coming. It's just been a really, really bad week for me. Yeah. Really bad week.
Don't you worry. Ranger J1999 has been holding it down like a boss.
This whole month's been crazy.
It's been like a boss, man. I've been doing all the streams. So, but everyone have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. And we will holler at you later. Peace.